Coming up today, following in the footsteps of the men's team, South Korea wins gold in the women's archery team event at the Rio Olympics. South Korea calls on China to focus on the denuclearization of North Korea instead of the deployment of a US missile defense system to the south. Plus, South Korea's ruling party begins the process of electing its new leadership ahead of a party convention set for Tuesday. Stay tuned for these stories and more. Hello to our viewers around the world. It's 6 a.m. on Monday, August 8th, here in Seoul. Thank you ever so much for joining us. I'm Mark Brew. Now, we are going to start our Olympics coverage with yet another gold medal for Team Korea in archery, a sport the country has dominated for decades now. Following in the golden footsteps of their male counterparts on Saturday, South Korea's women's team have won gold in the archery team event, beating Russia in the final. The star-studded South Korean team of Choi Mi-sun, Jang Hae-jin and Gi Bo-bae once again proved the nation's invincible spirit in archery, defeating Russia 5-1. Now, this victory is even more remarkable when you consider Korea's women archers have won the gold every Olympics since it became a medal sport in 1988. That's 8 consecutive golds. Now, Korea snagged another medal on Sunday, this time a silver on the judo mat. And Baul, who many expected to win the gold, had to settle for silver after losing in the final in the 66-kilogram class and lost to Italy's Fabio Basel by an ippon after just 84 seconds. Only an hour prior to the match, An had won his semi-final match against Masai Ibunuma from Japan. Korea's Yoon Jin-hee has brought home a bronze medal in the women's weightlifting in the 53-kilogram class. Yoon lifted 88 kilograms in the snatch clean and 111 kgs in the jerk. Chinese lifter Lee Ya-jun, the 2013 world champion, bombed out in the clean and jerk and failed to post a total, giving Yoon the bronze medal. Now, this year's gold and silver went to lifters from Taiwan and the Philippines. This was Yoon's much-anticipated return after winning silver in the 2008 Beijing Olympics. And moving on to men's football, it does look as though Korea will have to wait until the last group match to see whether the nation makes it through to the knockout round. On Sunday's group tournament match in men's football, Korea tied Germany in a very exciting match, 3-3. Team Korea led the game by scoring the first goal, but it went back and forth during the game. Now, the next and final group match for South Korea will be against Mexico at 4 p.m. local time on Wednesday, which will be at 4 in the morning on the next day for our viewers in Korea. So, as you can see, South Korea has gotten off to a wonderful start, third in the medal table at the moment. Now, we're going to stay in Rio, and Korean athletes striving for national glory aren't fighting alone. A group of Korean nationals who live in Brazil have banded together to offer the kind of enthusiastic and colourful support Korean fans would give them back home. Shin Se-min reports from Rio.
The banners and flags, the red T-shirts, even traditional musical instruments are among the symbols of the Korean spirit brought to Rio to cheer on the nation's athletes. Some 100 Korean nationals living in Brazil have gathered in Rio on the first day of the Summer Olympics to watch and cheer on Team Korea. Despite driving 8 straight hours from Sao Paulo, these Korean superpants are none the worse for wear.
We all are here because of Korea. I'm so thrilled to be watching the Olympic Games. I hope our cheers will help our athletes win.
My heart is filled with emotion, just being able to see Korean national team here, halfway across the globe. And we are here to support the Team Korea, especially the judo team.
From the unbounded enthusiasm shown through the Korean traditional folk dance Pungmul to the interminable chants between events, Korean fans do all they can to support the team.
Our enthusiasm and our cheering will give the team a boost and hopefully help them bring home a good result.
The team may be half a world away from their fans back in Korea, and the time difference doesn't help. But they won't be alone over the next 2 weeks as they work to bring home the victory, and the cheering squad will be right there the whole way, helping convey all the support they have back home. Shin Se-min, Arirang News, Rio de Janeiro.
Now, in the rest of the day's news, the UN Security Council has been unable to adopt a new resolution denouncing North Korea for its recent string of provocations due to disagreement from China. According to diplomatic sources, UN member states, including the US and Japan, are urging Beijing to approve the statement, arguing that a failure to do so would undermine the Security Council's authority. The Council is currently under a kind of silence procedure, which means a resolution is automatically approved if no member objects by a set date, but China is known to have postponed the date numerous times. South Korea has called on China to stay focused on the root of the problem when it comes to the upcoming deployment of the THAAD missile defense system to South Korea. The presidential office on Sunday urged Beijing to send a stronger message on North Korea's nuclear and missile programs, as those threats are the sole reason for deploying THAAD in South Korea. Now, China's state-run media has been reporting the missile defense decision is the cause of Pyongyang's recent provocations. Top office also urged opposition lawmakers to reconsider their planned trip to China because a trip so intertwined with national security issues must be closely coordinated with the government beforehand. 6 lawmakers from the Minju Party are set for a 3-day trip to China on Monday. Part of the itinerary includes an exchange of views with officials there and seeking Beijing's understanding on the THAAD deployment. Now, it's emerged that North Korea's launch of a Musudan ballistic missile in June took place at an airport in the city of Wonsan. The US-based North Korea monitoring website 38 North said that based on ground photos and satellite imagery, the test site was located in the eastern part of Kalma International Airport. North Korea did not disclose where its tests had been carried out. 38 North added that it's likely that North Korea will continue to use both this location and its companion facility on the Hodo Peninsula for its missile tests in the future, but use the Kalma Airport location for highly publicized events. North Korea's missile tests in late June showed the regime has made significant progress in its missile development as the missile flew 400 kilometers. Now, 6 North Korean women in Thailand have reportedly expressed their desire to defect to South Korea. They're expected to be transferred soon to the South Korean embassy in Bangkok. Kim Hae-sung has the details.
Of the 6 North Korean women, one of them in her 30s is reportedly pregnant and another in her 20s is with a 2-year-old child. According to Seoul-based news channel YTN on Sunday, they are now in the care of the Thai authorities after having been arrested in a neighboring country a few days ago. The pregnant woman is in the care of a local hospital while the rest of them are staying at a shelter for refugees. According to YTN, all 6 of the women are said to have expressed their wish to come to South Korea and will soon be transferred to the South Korean embassy in Bangkok. YTN says the Korean government is in close talks on the issue with Thailand.
This is not a matter that we can confirm.
Some of the 6 defectors are said to have come from the same area of North Korea, but their motivation for fleeing the regime is not yet known. Kim Hae-sung, Arirang News.
Now, North Korea is expected to ramp up its cyber warfare against the South. The chief of South Korea's Defense Security Command says Pyongyang's cyber provocation unit has grown since its start in the 1990s to 6,000 strong, and the regime plans to expand that number to 10,000 by the year's end, the defense official said. It only takes a couple of skilled hackers to cause absolute chaos. So the North is focused on devising more systematic ways to groom its hacking talent. This includes a 10-year program of instruction in the craft starting at the middle school level. Now, South Korea's ruling Saenuri Party has held its preliminary vote to fill its top leadership post ahead of the party's national convention that will be held on Tuesday. Candidates to lead the main opposition Minju Party of Korea have also begun their campaigns. Oh Jung-hee has the details.
Preliminary voting to choose the next leader of the ruling Saenuri Party started on Sunday at 7 a.m. and was set to end at 6 p.m. About 338,000 party members cast ballots nationwide on Sunday, with another 9,000 party delegates to vote at the national convention on Tuesday. The outcome of the leadership contest will most likely have been determined through Sunday's vote alone, but the winner will be revealed at the Saenuri Party's convention after the delegates vote on Tuesday. 4 candidates are vying for the top post. 3 of them, Lee Jung-yeon, Lee Ju-young, and Han Sun-kyo, are allied with President Park Geun-hye in her circle, while the 4th candidate, Ju Ho-young, is not. All of them have vowed to reform the party and work to overcome the internal factional strife that left the party divided after its crushing defeat in the April general election. Meanwhile, 3 candidates to lead the main opposition Minju Party of Korea have also started their campaigns. They are Choo Mi-hye and Kim Sang-gon, who have close ties to former party leader Moon Jae-in and Lee Jong-gol. The Minju Party's national convention will be held on August 27th, where its new leader will be chosen. Oh Jung-hee, Arirang News.
Now, the Korea Exchange extended trading hours for the stock, foreign exchange and derivative markets by 30 minutes last week with the aim of reinvigorating the local market. But in fact, in the week since the changes were introduced, the total number of trades made on Korea's main index, the Kospi, has actually fallen. The Kospi saw an 8.7% dip in trades, but the smaller, more tech-oriented Kosdaq saw a more than 12% rise. Now, there had been expectations the longer trading hours would boost the value of transactions by up to 6%. But analysts say it is too soon to draw any serious conclusions. They recommend at least a month of close monitoring to determine the effects of the extended trading hours. Thailand has voted to accept a military-backed constitution in a referendum on Sunday. Voters handed the junta a convincing win in its first major popularity test at the ballot box since it took power in 2014. Early results from the Election Commission showed that 61% of Thais voted in favour of the charter, while about 38% were against it. Voter turnout was about 55%, well below the target figure of 80%. Thailand's military says the constitution is designed to heal more than a decade of political instability, but critics say it'll enshrine the military's political role. Full results are due to be released on Wednesday. Now, the Korean blockbuster Train to Busan, now in cinemas across the nation, has recorded over 10 million viewers in Korea as of Sunday evening local time, and that's just 19 days into its release. It's the first movie of this year and the 14th in Korean film history to reach the milestone. Interest in the zombie thriller was high after its premiere at this year's Cannes Film Festival. More than 300,000 people bought tickets even before its release, and almost 900,000 people watched it on the day it actually came out. Now, Train to Busan follows passengers trying to stay alive while aboard a train with zombified passengers, believing that Korea's southwestern port city is safe from the nationwide zombie outbreak. Now, we're going to wrap things up today with a look at the weather, because the hot and humid conditions continue to have Korea in its grip. And it's not just the daytime highs that exceed 35 degrees Celsius that have people feeling so hot under the collar. Seoul will also see a record stretch this summer of so-called tropical nights. According to Korea's weather agency, that's when the low temperature stays above 25 degrees Celsius. Now, similar conditions are forecast to continue for the next couple of weeks at least, so you might need the air conditioning remote control handy. Seoul has seen already 15 tropical nights since July 22nd, which brings the total number of tropical nights to 23 this summer, the most since 1973. Well, that's all we have for now on this Monday morning here in Seoul. I'm Mark Broom. Thank you as always for tuning in. We'll be back throughout the day with more newscasts. Our next scheduled bulletin coming up at 10 a.m. Korea time. So until then, goodbye.